containing a super powerful spell, our characters have found themselves strangers in a strange new land, surrounded by species and peoples that they have never seen before. Fox people, bird people, all kinds of strange inhabitants. The captain of the Spirit of the Horizon died during the spell. And in this hostile and confusing world, the master and the commander of the ship have taken control. The ship crackles with a magical golden energy, which means that inhabitants and crew on board the ship occasionally teleport in and out at random, seemingly. People must be on edge and ready for adventure at any moment. Since arriving in this new world, the inhabitants of the crew have fought strange shark people. They've saved slaves, they've met pirates, they've fought zombies, they've killed a man made entirely out of fungus. They've sworn allegiance to a pirate council. They've fought and sunk a ship. And now they have set off into the seas in search of a fabled pirate haven called Libertalia. When we last left our players, the acting captain, Golan, was passed out, and one of our other characters, Relora, was serenading another player on the deck. Before we jump in, what I'd like to do quickly is just ask each of our players to introduce themselves, introduce a little bit about their character, name, race, what they do, what their role is, and also just to explain perhaps one thing, one reason why everyone on the ship would know who their character was. So I'm going to start to my right here.
Okay. I'm Vachel. I'm playing as Pelakos Kholadin, who is a tiefling barbarian. His whole jam is that he's misunderstood, but he's trying to find the proper outlet for his creative genius. The reason why he's so recognizable on the ship is because he's 7 foot tall and red.
I'm Chloe. I'm playing Relora Ellenville, a half-elf bard. She's actually the ship's translator, but has been getting involved in a lot of combat. Sometimes okay with it, sometimes really not. And the reason everyone on the ship knows who she is because she makes sure, she shows off at every single opportunity to. So yeah, she just goes up to people and tells them what her name is and things like that.
Cool.
Kind of person she is.
I'm Oliver. I'm playing as the character Zorro. I have scales, and I'm able to dive down to the depths of the ocean to grab new fish and hunt. And that's what solidified me as an important player on the role of the ship.
Nice.
I'm David. I'm playing as Eagle Beagle. And you'll know me because I'm half bird, half dog. And I am promiscuous, but blind. So you'll recognize me, but I might not recognize you.
Is that fully or just very short-sighted?
Fully.
Fully.
Yeah.
Fully blind.
Okay.
Cool. We can work with that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, just previous to this, we have set off in search of a way through to this special land. We've been told that we need to travel to a place called the Barsang Pass. And the ship has set course and is sailing away. There's been a few conversations, and it's quite clear that travel to this place is going to take maybe half a day. So there's plenty of time on board ship for people to talk to each other and converse. When we last left off, and the camera panned away, Relora was singing a little song on the forecastle of the deck of the Spirit.
Yeah. It's my new friend Pippin, who I'm really fond of. Why are you looking at me like Relora should be?
Well, I wondered whether she'd finished writing the song yet.
She's still workshopping. She's still she's in her quarters now on her own, and she's just kind of going like, tripping, slipping, flipping, and she's just trying to think of rhymes and really not doing very well at all. I think she's Pippin is her muse, and without Pippin there, it's not going very well.
Just wish she had a more rhymable name. So considerate.
Yeah.
Hola,
Yes.
what have you been doing on board ship in the last 12 hours?
Oh, I've been convinced that I have some either malaria or syphilis because I've been having fever dreams for the past 2 nights in a row. It's really weird. So I've been harassing the surgeon saying, can I fix this? Because I've been having dreams about fighting zombies, and then I was underwater, there was an octopus. It was really weird. This can't be real. So I've been just pestering him for hours and hours for drugs.
So you've been talking to the ship's surgeon?
Yes, yeah.
Cool. And have you managed to get anything out of them?
No, he's convinced me that no, this is real,
It's
and that you're not crazy.
How did he convince you it was real?
Well, he hasn't. He's convincing.
He's just a convincing person.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Zorro.
I've been spending a lot of time with the mermen who live beneath the ship, and they've convinced me that the captain has actually taken us off course and that it'll be longer to get to Bassang Pass than we think. And I'm trying to determine whether or not they're friends or foes.
How long have you been talking to them?
A fortnight.
A fortnight. Have you spoken to the ship's doctor?
No, not yet. But it may be time.
It may be time, yeah. Eagle, what have you been doing on board ship?
I've been wandering around, bumping my head a lot, confused. I don't know exactly where I am or where I'm going, but nobody seems to be able to understand me.
You are not alone in that feeling. In fact, in general, the feeling across a lot of the people on board the ship is that there is this sense that they don't really know where they are. They believe that they've probably been transported to a completely different world to where they originated. And this sense that we don't really know where we're heading is a major point of conversation amongst the large number of inhabitants aboard this ship. Up to this point, basically, life has been happening at them. They've had all of these crazy moments and encounters with a lot of uncertainty and an unknowing sense of direction, which is why this idea of travelling to this island, Libertalia, where pirates have set up a special conclave, an enclave, where they can live out their life in brotherhood and in fraternity, in shared ideal, is quite a nice drive forward. Also on board ship, and Relora will have noticed this because she was sat there recently. One of the inhabitants of this new world, a bird man by the name of Plumage, who's covered in these tiny little feathers all over his hands and arms. He looks more like a man than a bird, but he does have a beak. He has basically come on board the ship and is now offering to be the ship's ambassador to this new world, Havma. And over the last 24 hours or so, whilst our players have been chatting to pirates and fighting pirate adventures at sea and scuttling ships, he has started to sort of set up kind of impromptu tavern on the forecastle at the front of the ship. At the moment, it's just like a few bits of draped sailcloth to create a sort of vague roof and just some boxes that he's sat around. But he's sat there. He's a very gregarious, outgoing person. He loves to tell stories, so he has been telling everyone on board the ship everything that he could possibly tell them about himself, about the world that they're in. He loves being surrounded by people. So he's currently sat there, and word comes to him that we are headed towards the Barsang Pass, and his ears prick up, and he says out loud to anyone who is nearby, Barsang! I know many things about Barsang. If you want to know about Barsang, you should talk to me. What do you do?
Well, I walk up to Plumage, and because like we've had a little bit of stuff before, well, I've seen that he's been doing like a concentration spell to kind of cloak how he looks a little bit. I kind of go up and I want to be quite close quarters, so it's quite quiet. Oh, actually, no, I'll use message so that no one else can hear what I'm saying to him. And I want to go, will you tell me true things about the Barsang Pass?
Plumage turns and looks to you, and he knows that this is how you like to communicate with him now, exclusively in his head. And he says, of course. Plumage always tells the truth, when he can.
Right. Okay. You know what? And then she has like a flash of inspiration and goes, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, because Plumage feels a bit of an outcast. Well, Plumage has been a bit of an outcast, feels really, but I'm like, why have I not introduced him to Eagle Beagle? Because Eagle Beagle is half man, half dog. Plumage is a man bird. This is like, they must have some affinity. Maybe he'll be a bit more honest and a bit more forthright.
To get all the ethnic hybrids into one room. They're clearly something common.
You think we're all the same? We're all the birds. are just-
Laura's pretty, like, she can be a bit insensitive at times. But what she does is she sends a message. She can do that to Eagle Beagle, to wherever he is on ship, and sends a message saying, it's Relora, can you come and talk to someone? I think you'd like to meet him.
I'm open to meeting. I'm quite lost, and I think I need a new friend.
Wonderful.
She also says where she is. She says, I'm on the
Forecastle.
forecastle.
The sort of front deck at the very front of the ship.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna go.
you're going to wander slowly, sort of tentatively, feeling your way along.
I feel my way along, and it might take me a little while, but tell him to just wait for me, and he'll know when I'm there. I'll start barking, using my beak, and the birds will recognize each other.
I'm very confused. So you're gonna be barking with a beak. Which half of you is which?
It's
It's
just
all
all
mixed
it's
in.
all mixed in. It's
Okay,
not
fine.
as
My
simple as it may
apologies.
seem.
I'm being insensitive. Okay.
We live in a world where 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 still equals 1.
Every hygiene is exploding right
I'm
now.
half elf, half human, so I'm kind of happy with everything mixed in. So yeah, and as soon as I can see Eagle Beagle up ahead, I go over to him, and I kind of guide him over to Plumage, and I say, Plumage, Eagle Beagle, Plumage.
A pleasure to meet you. You're a strange one.
You say so yourself.
You have a good point.
Let's have a beer.
Wonderful.
Yeah, have a beer. You can tell us about the Barsang Pass.
So Plumage turns and just down to his side, he's managed to get a little keg which he brought on the ship with him. It's only got a small amount of beer in it, but he's enough to sort of pour a few out and put them in front of the people around him. And he says, "So you want to know about Barsang? Well, I don't know so much about the pass, but I can tell you the history of Barsang and how the pass came to be. No, you've not been here long enough. You won't have heard the legend of the Three Sisters, but it's a good story. Hang on, I'll tell you this story. Once upon a time, no, that's a bad start. In a land, no. I'll just get on.
Relora starts playing music on her lute, just kind of whilst you're thinking.
The island of Barsang was a beautiful and prosperous place. Rolling fields, golden green grasses, golden grains, towns, hamlets, scattered across this luscious landscape. And in the centre of it all, there was this grand palace, built from glittering red stones. It stood as a beacon for all that society treasured most, immeasurable beauty. All of the inhabitants of the island were in agreement that the most beautiful treasures of the island were the 3 daughters of the king. Thenta, The oldest of the three was a strong warrior. Eurele, the middle child, was a beautiful dancer. And Farbera, the youngest, was stunningly intelligent. The island was harmonious under the rule of their father, Ezio, who looked after people and spoiled his daughters right up until the day he died. After his death, things, well, they fell into disarray. The sisters argued amongst themselves about which of them should rule the people. They let the land stagnate, and their vanity and their greed grew. The people suffered, and they appealed to the gods for help. After years of prayer and pleading, everyone, eventually, a beautiful young woman appeared on the shore with pale skin and brilliant eyes one evening. The legend says that this was the goddess of the moon and tide, the mother, Simeon herself, who had answered the call of her people. She arrived at the court of this palace, and before them were these three squabbling sisters. So she disguised herself as a handsome young princess, and she attempted to seduce, charm, and cajole the sisters into listening to the needs of her people. But the sisters mocked their guest, whose beauty and grace they feared. And before the mighty mother herself, they made outrageous claims and jokes designed to wound and attack their unknown guest. Finally, Eurele, the middle sister, dismissed the visitor, claiming their guest was not beautiful enough to even gaze upon them. Angered by their impetuous, condescending, and vain behavior, Simeon made it so that no one would ever want to look on them again. She cursed their appearance. She uttered a violent word of power, and she shattered the island of Barsang in two. Quickly, the center of the island sunk to the bottom of this newly formed canyon, dropping the palace into the depths below. At least that's what the legend says. Cool.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. Relora kind of grabs herself with another drink because she gets through them quickly. And she says to Eagle Beagle, "You normally seem to have the measure of people. What do you think of this guy?" She's saying it quite quietly and away from plumage.
There's something he's hiding. What's your part in the story that you're not telling us?
Did you say that to him?
He hears me saying it.
This story happened thousands of years ago. I am a young bird. I have only heard this story from the sailors and from it being passed down by
How do you know
generation
it's
and generation. Well, it's a legend. I know it's true as much as I know any legend is true. All legends contain some truth.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I think you're right, Eagle Beagle. I'm feeling just on edge. Partially because I feel like I don't trust him, and also I'm aware that people teleport off the ship at any point. So, do you have? Sorry, this isn't meant as a threat. Some people think I'm a bit threatening sometimes. Not meant as one. Do you have any weapons on you?
I do.
You do. Cool. I'm just checking because everyone has to be so ready. Actually, oh god, I should find Holla if he's on board and apologise for some stuff that's happened where I may have goaded a octopus into attacking him and others. So I feel like I want to try and find Holla.
Cool. You can do so. Do you know where he is? You're gonna go searching?
Go searching.
Wonderful. Hola, where are you currently?
Oh,
Are you easy to be found?
Very easily because I'm shouting and roaring at the doctor, saying, "No,
Okay.
you don't understand. It's like it's real."
So you wander down from the forecastle towards the sort of centre of the ship, and you hear
Yep.
this bellowing.
It's happened. It wasn't just once, okay? It was twice. Happened twice, and it lasted a really long time. And there's octopuses. I've never seen an octopus. I don't even I know we're on a ship. I've never been underwater. It's
I understand.
I drowned a shark. That doesn't make sense.
I really slowly open the door because I'm actually thinking this might not be the right time for this because he seems pretty distressed.
Inside, you see a 7-foot tall, bright red tiefling barbarian, and he is screaming and shouting and gesticulating at this 3.5-foot tall halfling, who, like, he looks like he's in his sort of mid-50s. He's got sort of druidic symbols around his
Yeah.
shoulders. You know, he looks like he was here by accident.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't expecting to be dragged into a brand new world, and he was sort of looking forward to a more relaxing kind of retirement almost
Yeah.
on board this scientific vessel.
I creep in and I kind of go, hola?
How loudly are you saying this?
Hmm?
How loudly are you saying that?
I say it increasingly loudly until
Okay, because
you
at the same time, I'm
notice.
picking up my druidic friend by the cuff, lifting him up, saying, "No, you don't understand. I'm going crazy."
I can't
Okay,
do
I
anymore.
go over and I make Hola see that I'm actually here. Hola, to put him down. Put him down.
Thank you,
Put him
thank you,
down.
thank you, thank you. And he scuttles off into the corner and away.
But Laura, I don't know what's happening, but I'm having really weird nightmares. I think I'm seeing a prophecy.
Right. Okay. What are you seeing?
I think what happens is we go to an island and we fight zombies, and then I make friends with a bull and the bull dies. I don't know what that's meant to symbolize.
That's not a prophecy. That's just what's been happening.
What? I mean, I'm not crazy. This is real. This happened.
You're not crazy. Well, not for that, but you're not crazy.
I'm so confused. I don't know what's happening. I start my day and then I get vanished and then I get teleported somewhere else and just nothing makes sense.
What you need is a distraction. Okay, you need something to occupy yourself. You need something to do.
I hear those fidget cubes are really good. Those fidget cubes.
And a little bit of blood just
Yeah,
comes
that's
out.
psychic damage for referencing something out of universe. Because that happens.
I hear those 3D squares which have buttons on them are pretty useful.
Can you remind me what's Zori's role on the ship?
Zorro,
Aside from talking to mermen?
yeah, he's like our resident fisherman, I guess. Like, what would Zorro be doing?
The mermen have warned me about a strange figure who may present himself on the ship. He's not to be trusted.
Oh, okay.
They've explained that he can take many forms and can present himself at many times of day and in many shapes. He tells stories in a very compelling way, but he's not to be trusted.
And is this something you've been telling to other people on the ship?
No, I've kept
This
it to
is-
myself.
What's your... Because we're a naval research vessel, what was your job? Were you part of the Navy? Were you a researcher? Were you a stowaway? I'm trying to see...
I was a medic,
Oh, you were a medic?
yes.
Well, perfect. Maybe you won't threaten this one.
How far are you from me? Oh, you don't
He's
hear.
also a halfling.
He's also a halfling.
I was a medic, but it was a long time ago, and many moons have passed since that time, and I don't know if I'd be able to help cure your prophecy-seeing sort of ailment at the moment.
I see.
Right.
I'm all alone. No one gets it.
You're not.
No one understands.
Though I heard a legend from back in my medic days that if you found a half dog, half bird and spoke to it and listened to the stories of the half dog, half bird, it was able to calm many of the symptoms.
Well, that's lunacy. Where am I going to find one of those?
I'm not sure.
You don't know Eagle Beagle?
No, I've been wrapped myself quite late. I spend a lot of time just staring at the sea.
True.
I talk to the sea quite a lot. The sea doesn't talk back. We have the whole thing.
True, that's a good point. I know where he is. He's on the. I can't remember what the spot.
Forecastle.
The
Forecastle.
forecastle. He's on the forecastle. He'll still probably be with Plumage, I'm guessing. Can you come with? Because I'm not great at managing him on my own.
Oh, absolutely. And I think if they speak to one another, you'll make more sense out of the things you're seeing.
Great, thanks, Laura. Right, I lead Holla
I follow.
up to the forecastle.
Okay.
Check it and do you, Zara, do you want to go the other like one of us each side? Probably.
I take very careful, heavy steps, gripping everything inside just to confirm this is real, this is solid, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I keep kind of just. I don't know. I as we're going, I'm trying to play calming music
Okay.
to make sure that you stay calm just until we get to the forecastle.
Could you play Beyond the Sea? Could you invent a song called Beyond the Sea? I mean,
Could I invent a song called Beyond the Sea?
could you
I
compose spontaneously?
I could start singing the words Beyond the Sea with a tune. But it's not too long a walk.
Okay.
Maybe Beyond the Sea comes once you're a bit calmer. I don't think you'd I'm a bit vain about my music. You wouldn't really appreciate it right now, and I kind of
And
don't
as
want to
they
waste it
wander
on a
up
non-captive
towards the
audience.
forecastle, they see Plumage is still there, and he's in it. Plumage will talk to anyone, and especially people who are trapped because they are fully blind. So he's been talking off Eagle Beagle's ear since you left. He's been relating more information.
As
to
I
him.
come back, I kind of mouth at Eagle Beagle.
He's blind, so he doesn't see you mouth it.
I message.
I heard.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
I do still do a bit of this.
Got some
Right.
messages. I got some messages. I know what's going on.
You know what's. Okay. We'll talk about it in a second. Could you talk? What were we saying? Stories?
Yes, Eagle Beagle, if you're able to speak to Vasa, I think just being in
Oh,
his
my name has
presence.
changed.
It's
Vasa, yes, your name has changed. It's teleported many times back and forth. If you're able to speak
Who
to
even am
Vasa-
I?
You're Hala?
Hala.
It's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. You're
Hala.
Hala.
If you're able to speak to Hala,
Hala.
I think you may be able, just your presence speaking with him, it doesn't even have to be anything special. It may be able to calm some of the feelings he's having.
You're the one I've seen in my dreams. No, I haven't. You're the one I was told in my dreams to see eventually. Yes,
I'm here. I can't see you. What are you? Who are you?
I'm me, I think. I'm
Who
not
are you
sure.
at your soul?
I'm so confused. They told me you'd give me answers, explain all this weirdness to me, this craziness.
Maybe it's a good time. Yeah.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. There's a lot in this world and things that you're seeing that are true. But you also have the power to stop them
See, with my mind.
with your mind. If you close your eyes and you hop on one foot, the world stops and you control everything.
Roll a persuasion check. So, the 20-sided dice, which is the big, the icosahedron, perfect. Roll that. What
One.
is it?
That's known as a critical failure.
You
you
lied!
A 1 is a critical failure and a 20 is a critical success because they're the highest and lowest, but it means you automatically fail in an embarrassing way.
Well, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
It definitely was worth a shot.
Well, I guess I'm not the only one that loses credibility on this ship.
Hold on, you are very aware that this man is just totally lying
It's
to you.
best not to lie to him.
I am surrounded by
It's not-
liars! I can't trust anyone.
Look, what did Plumage tell you about all of this? Maybe some truth and some information will give you something to ground yourself.
Yeah.
I think it should just be the two of us. I don't think this should be shared more broadly.
Eagle
Okay.
Beagle, you can trust me. I've spoken to the mermen, and they've told me things that I haven't even shared with the rest of the ship. And I may be able to trade information.
You know, I'll share what I can. I won't share everything. There'll be
Okay.
times in the future that I'll come back to you, but I'll share what I can do right now.
Okay.
The cliffs, they come together, close together, and they require great skill to navigate. And someone I once knew swears blind he once saw the cliffs crash together. That's all I have for
And
now.
That's what Plumage told you.
That's what he told me.
That's what I told him.
Jesus!
Oh, you're still here?
You're in my bar. Would
I
you
didn't
like
realize
another
you were
drink?
so close.
Yes.
Pours you another drink, hands it over. That's the story. That's the story. I mean, someone I once knew. Well, someone who I once knew told me the story that someone that he once knew.
Yeah.
It's a story.
Get a sense. Okay.
I'll share a little more. I feel like that's not enough.
Thanks, Eagle.
If we're gonna hide a pirate utopia somewhere, it'd be there.
Wait a
Don't ask questions.
Sorry, yeah.
We have just sworn allegiance to a pirate clan. I wonder if these are enemies or friends of our allegiance.
Libertalia, I was just on a ship, I can't remember the name of it, but it was with Trip and with Lokash and with those pirates. Trip mentioned Libertalia as the name of a pirate haven, some kind of base or something. So that, I mean, I wasn't there when everyone was swearing allegiance to pirates. I mean, I'm not totally bothered by it, but
Before Trip left the ship, when she was talking to the captain of the pirate ship, the Libertalian ship, the captain of the ship mentioned that you had to travel to the Barsang Pass and to go through the Barsang Pass in order to get to another island where there would be a series of challenges which would test your mettle, test your credentials to see whether you were worthy of being able to travel to Libertalia. So Relora was there for that conversation,
Yeah.
so she would have remembered that.
yeah.
Whilst you're sat underneath the awning in his bar, you hear from above in the crow's nest. You hear a familiar voice of your lookout, who shouts, "Land ho!" And just off the starboard side, you see a beautiful sun-kissed island coming into view. And as you pass along the coastline, you see, as you start to come around the corner, that there is this rending. There is this sort of dark red, rocky scar in the island, which would otherwise be like a thick, tall, high cliff. So no beaches, no easily dockable areas, but you do see this narrow slit.
So it's cliffs close together.
It's cliffs close
Essentially,
together, yeah. But it doesn't look like. I mean, as you go along the coastline, it looks normal, like a normal coastline.
Oh, okay.
But the cut, the kind of crash, the ravine, appears to be slightly more recent
Okay.
geologically.
Yeah.
And not necessarily a natural event.
If I've just seen that, I want to say to Eagle, I know you're protective of this information. If this is where we're headed, then the captain needs to know that. It sounds like something everyone on the ship should know if we're going to be somewhere where it needs skill to navigate, where things crash together.
How do we know he's telling the truth? How can we trust any of us? How can I be trusted? How can I trust myself? Why should I tell the captain something that I don't know is true?
Because at least then he has options, he has information. Yes, it may not be true, but if it is true and we haven't told him, can I roll persuasion?
You can roll persuasion.
Can I try to persuade her? What is my persuasion? 10.
Roll an
Oh, is this contested?
insight check. So roll the same die.
This one?
Yep. And
Five.
then add on your list, you should have insight plus 2, so that would be 7. So that is less than what you rolled. So you have no reason to disbelieve her plea. Relora is a well-respected member of the crew, and her and a number of the other people have been on many adventures. You get the impression that they've had a really strong, they've got probably one of the strongest understandings of what is going on in the world. And so you want to do what she says.
Onward. Didn't come from me, but you can tell the captain.
Thank you, Eagle.
But if my name gets out there,
The captain, well, I say captain, he was acting captain, but he's calling himself the captain now. He is dishing out promotions like there's no tomorrow. Are you sure you don't want any credit if it turns out to be true?
if it turns out to be true, I'll get the credit. But until then, I am a silent informant.
I totally understand, Eagle.
As you head towards the captain's...
Can I also
Cabin?
do a check on, because I don't know how much Zorro trusts me either. And I just want to check that he's okay with the whole situation. Would that be an insight?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, I just don't want to make enemies on board my own ship. Oh, that's 17.
Cool.
I trust you. I follow the omens, and I believe in the mermen. They've warned me
When
about
So
this is the
you're-
first time Relora hears the word merman.
Your insight suggests that he may have been on deck when the great old god appeared,
Okay.
and perhaps,
Seeing such a powerful
Seeing
thing
this-
sent him slightly.
yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be the only member of the crew who had a little bit of madness touch them
Yeah.
during the thing.
Yeah, I hear mermen. Well, to be honest, for a brief moment, I think of like the weird shark people that we fought a few days ago. But then I kind of take another look at Zorro and I go, okay, I totally respect the omens and the mermen's words. Doing my best performing here to seem totally sincere and respectful.
Roll a performance check.
Oh god, this is potentially going to go badly. 10. That's
10.
with +6.
Do you buy it?
I do. I'm nervous about telling the captain, though, because I don't trust the captain.
Okay.
Why don't you trust him?
The omens have suggested that he may be taking us into what may be a dead end.
What are the omens?
The mermen point to shapes and patterns in the waves. You may not believe me and my mermen, and I
I'm
can't
still
convince you. I
surprised.
can't persuade you to, unless I can roll one of these dice.
You
but
can
I
roll-
haven't
you
been
You
can-
could,
granted
well, to
you
be
can
honest,
try.
like, I have seen a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
If someone, like, I don't totally know there aren't mermen in this plane of existence.
one.
Oh.
Oh,
Are you convinced that from here on
there's
there was
no
no
way there are
such
mermen
thing?
in this
It's
plane
not
of
possible.
existence.
Oh, well. Yeah, doesn't buy it at all.
Doesn't buy it.
Fair
But
enough.
You were fully voted.
But trying to be sincere, but also a little bit worried for his mental state. I do go, will you let me know about any more omens?
Yes.
Thanks, Zoro. And then I kind of do a quick look at Chola to see how he's doing.
The light has gone out of my eyes.
Oh, God.
I see nothing but a haze where I cannot dreams and memories and imagination blurs into one vista, wherein I cannot distinguish between color and sound. I'm going mad. That's pretty much it.
Can I ask a question? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like, I doubt this is, when someone casts sleep on someone else, like, is it just kind of full unconscious? They don't even dream. They're not aware. I'm wondering if I can give Holla some respite.
It's quite nice. All I know is there are two things that can grant my Holla, like death and poetry. Those are the truest things that Holla regards.
Death and poetry.
Those are the truest things in this world.
She sees where this is going.
You either kill something or you write a good poem. That's what restores sanity.
And I'm guessing a song is a poem
You
to
know,
music.
Actually, yeah, it is.
Right.
That is one form of poetry.
Well, because, okay, so...
You get the impression that it sends people unconscious.
Sends people unconscious.
So it's not like...
Okay.
I think it's sleep rather than nap.
Right. I reach out my hand towards Holla and say, if it's not... I could try to put you to sleep, just as in sleep, and maybe you won't think of all these things.
And everything will make sense again.
I don't know how much sense it will make, but you'll have at least a tiny few hours of peace.
Fair. Give me peace.
And I really hope that, like, when he wakes up, he feels better. But I cast
Let's see.
sleep.
So the ship has been working its way along the coastline now, and it's come right up to where the jagged fissure is through the island, and it starts to turn to go into it as per its orders. And you see now that the walls of the pass are coming much closer together. It's probably maybe 100 feet wide at its widest, but in places it comes really close together, really narrow, maybe only 10 feet either side of the width of the ship itself. And the walls of the pass are high. The cliff edge is steep. And even the man in the crow's nest, who is at the top of the very height of the mast, when he looks up, he still sees above him just more wall. It's a deep ravine.
Mm-hmm. I've gone to the captain, by the way, to tell him about the potential for stuff crashing together.
Very good.
I haven't mentioned Eagle's name. I've not mentioned Zara's name.
This is useful information. Perhaps we will have need of it in future. As you come out of the captain's quarter,
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to roll a perception check.
Okay.
Holla is asleep, yes.
Mm-hmm. Knocked out.
A non-natural 20.
As you're wandering out, the change from the darkness inside to the light outside causes you to look up a little. And above, you see shadows on the sails of the ship. Just the odd small flit of shadow across the sail.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a perception check. So roll the 20-sided dice, both of you, and add your perception.
11. So I have 12.
9.
12 and 9. Eagle, unsurprisingly,
Yeah.
doesn't see anything.
They're not loud.
But next to you, by the forecastle, you do hear as a tiny little pebble of rock clatters onto the deck beside you. And we go into initiative.
That's Dex.
Yeah. So, the creatures that are going to attack you do not have a surprise round because you saw them,
Yes.
which is lucky. But you are about to be attacked.
Am I still knocked out
wake?
cold?
Oh, you can dispel sleep by actually just like shaking someone awake.
You can slap them awake.
Okay, I slap
Well-
Holler in the face the moment I see these things.
That's fine. I was.
What do you say to him as you do so?
Oh god. I'm sorry, but we need you. I know things won't make sense, but please just keep it together for just this next little moment.
What's happening? What's going on?
I don't know, I've seen something around the sails of the ship.
God.
As she says those words to you, you see, flying down at quite a large pace, you see 2 of these gaping-jawed, spiny-toothed, hairy, winged beasts. And they are mouths open and they are screaming as they sort of dive bomb down towards the ship.
I just need to know one thing. Do they bleed?
And we're going to hold it. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed your first experience of tabletop role playing. Thank you so much for being game and for playing with us. I'm going to hand over back to our stage manager, Kat, who's just going to do a few little bits of announcement while she's extracting herself from the cables. Are either of you guys in any shows in Edinburgh?
No.
Okay, no worries.
Hi, thanks for watching. Sorry for the minor technical hiccups. I'm standing over at Bella as well. Does anyone else have anything they would like to
Yes.
promote?
I have a show at 6:15 today in Holyrood, right across the corridor. We're doing a play called Open Heart Surgery, which is about a conservative therapist handling her first gay couple. It's a lovely tearjerker play. It's just a very lovely play. We're on until the 13th every day at 6:15 here.
Cool.
Thank you, Ayla. Thank you, newbies.
Yes, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Oliver.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're going to take...
It's like a 5-10 minute break and then we'll start up the stream again. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
So did you guys make the rules? This is awesome.
Oh no, well, like,
Yeah. No.